Coast to coast, voters are making their voices heard today in primary contests, 15 states and 1 territory. Hundreds of delegates are at stake, the biggest haul for either Republicans or Democrats on any single day, a day when President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump are in position to move much closer to winning their party's nominations. News Center Maine has crews all around the state. Right now, Alex Haskell is standing by in Portland with much more about election security. Donovan Lynch is ready to bring us presidential primary implications for Congressional District 2. And of course, a lot of you are watching tonight.
Especially once polls close and results begin to come in. Zach Blanchard joins us for a first look.
Guys, we will be watching the fight that many thought would be over now, the race between former President Donald Trump and former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley. Trump has won most of the states so far, with Haley picking up delegates in Washington, D.C. this week. But there is a reason Haley made a stop in Maine this week. She's trying to get those moderate and unenrolled voters to the polls. So we're keeping an eye on the 2nd District specifically, where Trump was able to gain some electoral votes in the general in 2016 and 2020. That's also where in 2020 we saw some Republicans vote for Senator Susan Collins and Joe Biden. Collins, of course, endorsing Haley. On the other side, we're watching the race between President Joe Biden and longshot challenger Dean Phillips. Phillips has been far behind Biden, which is no surprise. It's incredibly rare for an incumbent sitting president to face any real competition from the Democratic Party. Still, we'll let you know how well the president does here, because that will perhaps show how motivated Democrats are this cycle. Now, aside from the candidates, this primary is a semi-open one for the first time in the state. So why does that matter? Well, election officials had some concerns it might cause confusion among voters. It means that unenrolled voters are able to vote Republican or Democrat. That could be significant if those voters are willing to take any chance on Nikki Haley. We also want to know if local clerks face any issues with the new process. So far, we haven't heard any reports. Next up, absentee early voting. It's something state Republicans encouraged this time around to, as they said, secure the vote. Secretary of State Shannon Bellows is not expecting a big turnout and says absentee numbers haven't been particularly high either. And finally, there are a handful of other issues and special elections out there. The biggest one we're watching is in South Portland. That's where voters will fill an open house seat. That seat was held by Democratic State Representative Lois Galgay-Reckitt, who passed away last October. Running for the seat are Matthew Beck, a Democrat, along with Tristram Howard and Brendan Williams, neither of whom are enrolled in a party. It's likely Dems will hold on to that seat. Now, of course, we'll have live updates throughout the night, starting when polls close at 8. And guys, June's election will be a lot more involved, but there's still plenty to keep tabs on tonight.